Well, let's discuss the latest then in perspective today with Professor at the St. Joseph University of Beirut and from Sciences Po University here in Paris, Karim Emile Bitar. Thanks very much for joining us on the programme.
Good morning, thank you for having me.
Good to have you with us. Let's first of all get your reaction to that latest news. In the last hour or so, Israel saying it has admitting it has begun to move into parts of southern Lebanon.
For me, it's a terrible feeling of déjà vu all over again, as Yogi Berra used to say. We have witnessed a first Israeli invasion in 1978, then a full-fledged ground invasion that went all the way to Beirut in 1982 and that paved the way for the rise to Hezbollah, and then wars in 1996, 2006, 2023. And all these wars seem to end up in some sort of quagmire. Israel is very often able to destroy its enemies, but never able to bring stability to its northern border. And it is the Lebanese civilian population that pays the heaviest price. Today we have almost 1 million refugees. Entire villages have been evacuated. And this unprecedented humanitarian catastrophe could produce an economic and social dislocation in Lebanon and ultimately perhaps a political crisis. We are already seeing tensions because these refugees have to find refuge in areas that are predominantly Christian or Sunni or Druze, so mostly hostile to Hezbollah. So there is an existential risk on Lebanon. Hezbollah definitely has a major part of responsibility. It was completely reckless to throw these rockets at Israel. But it is becoming clear today that this was an Iranian decision, an IRGC decision. So Israel could very well have anticipated this when they launched with the United States a strike on Iran. It would have been very easy to predict that Iran, feeling an existential threat, would use all its allies and would strike its Gulf allies and would escalate horizontally to widen the scope of this war.
So bearing in mind what you said at the beginning there, is there a fear, do you think, now that Israel has realised, if that's the right way of putting it, that they've tried this numerous times and it hasn't made any difference? Hezbollah has continued to fire rockets into Israel, and this is the time that they are now going to say, enough is enough, we're going to go much further?
Well, this might be their narrative, their rationale, but I fail to see how it will translate into reality. How do you transform a military victory into lasting stability? They were unable to defeat Hamas on their own turf for over 2.5 years. They might definitely destroy Hezbollah's infrastructure, but you have people who live in South Lebanon who are determined to defend their villages, who will continue to struggle against Israel. Let's assume that Hezbollah is completely eliminated. Another group, perhaps more radical, would emerge a few years down the road. So as long as we do not tackle the core issue, recognition, clear delimitation of the border, we are hearing speeches from major Israeli politicians and generals calling for annexation of South Lebanon, expulsion of all who live in south of the Litani. Some would like to rename the region Upper North Galilee or something like this. So even if these were fringe groups initially, Israel is in a headlong rush, and many Lebanese are worried because these expansionist policies go way back to the 1940s and 50s.
We've had some efforts, haven't we, just over the weekend to try and broker some kind of truce. The French President Emmanuel Macron saying that he could be an intermediary, if you like, between the Lebanese government and Israel. Do you see any hope there?
Yes, because France is the only actor that has maintained a relationship that still talks to Hezbollah, talks to all actors on the Lebanese arena, and it is perceived also as a Western country that is not antagonistic towards Israel. So, according to Barak Ravid of Axios website, the French proposal consists of a Lebanese recognition of the State of Israel, and actually this would not be something completely new, because when they negotiated the maritime borders, even Hezbollah had de facto recognized the existence of the State of Israel. On its side, France and other countries would help the Lebanese army to completely disarm Hezbollah, and Israel would agree to a clear delimitation of maritime and terrestrial borders between the two countries. So if it works, it would be a breakthrough, because...
It's a big if, though, isn't it? I mean, Hezbollah is not going to agree.
It's a major if. It's a major if, because when the news was revealed by Axios, the French government denied, saying, no, there's no such thing as a French plan. And then the journalist who published it says, I have seen the document, it's written République Française, so there is a French plan. But it's so sensitive that I understand why the French are reluctant to put it on the table without getting some buy-in from Israel. So far, even though the Lebanese government has formed a delegation ready to negotiate with Israel in Cyprus, indirect and even direct negotiations, so far Israel considers that it has to achieve a major military victory before entering into negotiations. And I'm not sure this is the appropriate logic, because once you devastate an entire country, the state of mind becomes even more hostile, and it becomes more difficult for the Lebanese side to convince its own population that they should go towards normalization and delimitation of the borders and accept to recognize Israel.
Let's talk more about that state of mind and the humanitarian situation. I know you have many, many contacts in the country. I mean, tell us what you're hearing about what the latest situation is for people who actually are trying to go about their daily lives in Lebanon. Because there's various areas, of course, the south of Lebanon and Beirut, who are particularly being targeted, but even the rest of the country as well.
Well, a feeling that they are really tired. For the past 2 decades, people have been vaunting so-called Lebanese resilience. Today, no one feels resilient. Everyone is exhausted. And an overwhelming majority of the Lebanese population is fed up with Hezbollah and with Israel. Hezbollah has lost its last remaining allies in the Christian Sunni communities. Even in its own Shiite community, we are hearing lots of discordant voices saying, how do you want to confront Israel without having built shelters, without having built a solid economy, a strong society that is capable of handling such a war? This hostility toward Hezbollah does not necessarily translate into a willingness of the Lebanese to accept a new Israeli occupation of their country, because they have witnessed it between 1982 and 2000, because they know Israel's disproportionate, heavy-handed methods. So even the most critical Lebanese towards Hezbollah will not welcome a new Israeli invasion, with the exception perhaps of some radical fringes who want Israel to go all the way. But this could lead to a breakup of the country, and this would be also the recipe for new internecine wars.
We're running out of time, but just in 30 seconds or so, is there a way that you can see that this could come to an end? Because at the moment it just seems to be dragging on and on.
Well, if Donald Trump decides to seek an off-ramp and stop the Iran war, Israel will have to stop the Iran war. Now Israel is determined to continue in Lebanon even if Trump opts out of Iran, and only Trump has the capacity, the leverage to force Israel to stop its occupation of Lebanon and to go to a negotiation process. But no one else, only Donald Trump, only the United States, because they provide so much military and financial support to Israel, can exert this kind of pressure, and so far I'm not seeing it.
Good to have you with us on the program.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Karim Emile Bitar from the St. Joseph University of Beirut and Sciences Po University here in Paris.
Thank you.
Thanks again.